Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Your Mark on the World show. I'm your host, Devin Thorpe. I'm a Forbes contributor covering social entrepreneurship and impact investing. Our guest today is Amy Klement, who is a partner with global responsibility for education at Omidyar Network. Amy, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
We are thrilled to have you. You know, Omidyar Network has been really one of the leaders in the whole impact investing space, and so I've been wanting to talk to you for a long time. I'm thrilled that you would take the time to be on the show today. So, Amy, how long have you been with Omidyar Network?
I've been with Omidyar Network for 5 years now.
Okay, so you've got a good sense of the history. Maybe you could just take us back and help us understand how the impact investing came to be such a fundamental part of what goes on at Omidyar Network.
Absolutely, and it's actually a fun time to be having this conversation. As I reflect over the past year or so, I feel like we've finally moved from a place where impact investing was an idea to a movement. So the timing is ripe. So when eBay went public, Pierre suddenly found himself with more wealth than he ever imagined, and decided that he wanted to put that to work for social good. And he did what many ultra-high net worth individuals do, which is start a foundation. And what he quickly discovered was that foundations are somewhat limited in what they enable you to do. And so while he was making grants to terrific nonprofits, he reflected on his time at eBay. Now, eBay, funded by pure venture capitalists, created 1 million jobs, over 1 million jobs, 1 million jobs in the U.S. alone, let alone outside of the U.S. And he decided, gosh, if someone had asked me to start a nonprofit that creates 1 million jobs, I wouldn't know where to start. And he started thinking about the power of markets and the power of sustainability and scalability and frankly, just the size of the world's problems and how philanthropy alone, government alone, aren't going to be able to solve it, and that the power of markets to help solve these problems is really critical. So about 10 years ago, we kind of redesigned Omidyar Network to be not just foundation, but a hybrid organization that both makes impact investments as well as makes grants. And we've been doing it for 10 years. You know, I think what's tremendously exciting about Omidyar Network is that we actually get to do both. So we get to do what we call problem first, tool second. We really get to identify what's needed in this space and then go for it.
That really is a remarkable approach, and I really want to emphasize that because there are some people, not a lot, but there are people, you've run into them, I'm sure, in this broader community of social good, of philanthropy and impact investing. There are people who take sides, right, that are convinced that philanthropy is more authentic or that impact investing is more effective. And so tell us a little bit about what it's like to work at a shop where you have both tools at your disposal, and how do you evaluate which one to use?
Yeah, no, I personally, that's why I love my job, is because it's embracing that it really takes all. It takes government, it takes philanthropy, it takes the private sector. And so the way that we look at our work is, as we look at the need, we determine what tool to use. And frankly, our investment professionals, the people on our investment team, have all the tools at their disposal. And they identify what is most needed and have the flexibility to do that. And frankly, we don't care if something is a for-profit or a nonprofit. What we care about is that it's sustainable, scalable, and touches hundreds of thousands, if not millions of lives. That's really what's most important to us.
It is a remarkable time. Just yesterday, Bill Gates put out his annual letter and was talking about really this rather unique moment of time in which we find ourselves operating. Of course, I'm sure you and Mr. Gates are on a first-name basis, but I haven't met him. But I'm sure as you think about this like he does, you see this potential for the impact investing and philanthropy to work synergistically together to actually do something at scale, and really start to help not just hundreds of thousands or millions, but billions of people as a collective movement.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And the way that we at Omidyar Network think about our work is about building sectors, about building markets. And so it's not just about impact investing in a specific firm, but building an entire marketplace, a thriving sector. And so that's why it's so fun to have all of the tools at our disposal and be able to think so holistically, because sectors are not built by a single firm alone. They're built by, philanthropy is needed to fund things like public goods, associations, think tanks, help work with government to build thriving sectors, thriving marketplaces that can reach the billions of people in need.
I wonder, Amy, if you could just help us put a finer point on that by giving us an example of a marketplace, of an ecosystem where you're working and playing and seeing results.
Yeah, so we have worked for many years in the financial inclusion space. And in fact, Pierre and his wife Pam were really quite visionary in being some of the first funders to fund equity investments in microfinance institutions. So we've been there for a long time, and the range of our investments includes everything from debt and equity into microfinance institutions in the early days, to now funding some of the more innovative startups offering new types of products and services to the underserved. And then we use our philanthropy to help build that sector, sort of infrastructure players. So you might be familiar with CGAP, which is really sort of the global think tank providing fabulous information to financial services and financial inclusion professionals throughout the world. We fund the GSMA Mobile Money Unit, which is looking at how can you further the growth and accelerate the growth of mobile money throughout the world. We fund the Better Than Cash Alliance, which looks at how can you accelerate the movement from cash to digital. So really taking a full scope of all of our different efforts across all the different tools to help build up financial inclusion throughout the globe.
Yeah, I get the picture. I really thank you for giving us that example, because I really think that helps to clarify how that works. So you've been just barely reassigned the education space, but maybe you could just take 1 minute and give us a teaser as to what you're thinking about in terms of the role that Omidyar Network can play in education.
Yeah, this is one I'm really incredibly excited about. There's a lot happening in emerging markets and education these days. One stat that most people don't know is, and there are ranges, but the most common number I hear is about 40% of students in many emerging markets are going to private schools, fee-based private schools. Because what we're finding is that government systems are often failing. And the government schools, by the way, which are supposed to be free, aren't really free. There's test grading fees and teacher fees and uniform fees, etc. And so we're finding a market that's developing around these affordable private schools, which can really, are delivering high quality results, at times. There's great private schools and there's great public schools. There's also bad private schools and bad public schools. So just to be clear, but it's an opportunity to provide more choice and provide better options where government systems are failing. So that's one area we're really excited about, and we've got some investments there. Another area that we're very excited about is the possibility of technology in education. Ed tech is something that people have been talking about for a long time. I think we're at the tip iceberg as far as the impact that we've seen. And I think that people are still learning of the importance of last mile distribution and the importance of facilitation. It's not just about putting a course online, but it's about partnering that with great teachers, with great facilitation. Yeah, those are some of the things that we're really excited about in the education space.
I get what you're saying about the not just put a course online. I was in Ethiopia this summer or this fall, spent some time with a gentleman who had visited Kenya deploying ed tech there that was very affordable and remarkable, and to put solar powered technology into classrooms in rural Kenya. Just amazing, really.
Mm-hmm.
But as I left thinking about how massive amounts of information and will become amazing and have a special career in Kenya because of that, and yet most of the kids won't figure it out. And that's why we need just what you're saying. There is more to the puzzle than just deploying the technology.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. We're very focused on sort of what does that last mile distribution look like? What is the facilitation? And what are the outcomes? At the end of the day, education is all about outcomes.
Yeah. Well, Amy, you are doing some amazing work, and it's fun to talk to you. It's exciting, and I appreciate you taking the time. There must be times, there must be days when it's frustrating, when it's hard, when you just feel like you're hitting your head against the wall. Who do you look to for inspiration? Who helps you through, motivates you through those rough spots?
Yeah, so I'll tell you, I have had the great pleasure of knowing Reid Hoffman since the year 2000 when we worked together at PayPal, and we've served on the Kiva board together since 2005. And he is just a remarkable, remarkable human being. He, in many ways, exemplifies sort of what I hope to achieve, and what I hope we all achieve. In that, he at an early age decided that he wanted to devote his time to initiatives and projects that create lasting, positive, large impact in this world. And he's done exactly that. So if he's most well known for being the founder of LinkedIn, but obviously has helped build some amazing companies like PayPal, like Airbnb, like Edmodo, and in addition to doing that, he's taken his entrepreneurial spirit, experience, and applied it to his philanthropy as well. So on the philanthropic side, he looks for and invests in kind of early stage, innovative, highly scalable nonprofits. And the proof is in the pudding. So Do Something, Kiva, I'm trying to think of the other ones that he's involved with, Mozilla. He has a stellar portfolio, both as an angel investor on the for-profit side of highly impactful, positive companies, as well as on the nonprofit side. So, in summary, I would say he's someone who has found kind of true unity of purpose, and has used all of his assets and all of his experiences for social good and social change, not just viewing kind of one side of kind of capitalism and the other side of philanthropy, but he brings it all together. It's really terrific.
That is terrific, and we see more and more people thinking that way. Oftentimes I hear that it's young people, but more and more I see this shift as being universal and being somewhat age agnostic. All of us, even people with gray hair like me, are starting to think about bringing together our two worlds and taking a more holistic approach. That's a great
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, there's so much talent and experience that's needed, all throughout the social sector too.
Yeah. Well, Amy, you could be doing anything. Let's be clear. You are an exceptional person with a powerful network, obviously. You could be doing anything. Why this?
Um, my mom was a social worker, and and is forever in service. And I was sort of instilled with that value, and at the same time was lucky enough to have an amazing business career, and really was reflecting on how do I ensure that I take all of the skills and experiences I learned in my business career and can apply that to being in service. And this whole movement around impact investing, social entrepreneurship, whatever you want to call it, is exactly that and provides me that opportunity. So, I think I've got the best job in the world. I sometimes feel like I walk into the office about 6 inches off the ground every day, because they're incredibly difficult problems and incredibly complex problems and just massive opportunity. So it's I feel very, very blessed.
You hit on something there at the end. I mean, it's just such a powerful answer, and I don't want to distract from it, but that's at the end you mentioned that problems and opportunities, and when you see, as you do, a problem, and there are some massive problems, you see those as massive opportunities, it's got to be exciting and rewarding to go to work every day.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. The change happens slower. At PayPal, when I was running product, we would have code releases about once a week. So change is a little bit slower when you're talking about, how do you bring higher quality education to 600 million kids throughout the world. So it requires patience, fortitude, belief. But it's incredibly intellectually stimulating, in addition to emotionally stimulating.
Well, and there are opportunities there. That's one of the exciting things. Is there are bona fide opportunities for everyone. It's exciting to think about it in those terms. One last question, if you'd indulge us for just another minute. There are a lot of different people watching this, and they all have one thing in common: a desire to have more impact, to do more good. Could you give us one tip from your experience and expertise that would help us be more effective in doing good?
I think I would just go straight to having humility, and really listening and learning from the customer or from the beneficiary. But having humility, I think, is critical.
No, that is a great suggestion, and we all lose sight of that at times. So I really appreciate you reminding me about that. I shouldn't say everyone struggles with that. You probably don't, but it's most of us struggle with being humble and listening and understanding other people, and that perspective can be almost invaluable in this work. So thank you very much for that great insight. Well, Amy, I know there'll be a lot of people who want to be in touch with you. Can you tell people how best to engage with Omidyar Network and with you personally? What's the protocol?
Yeah, so thank you for that. I think best way to get in contact with me is my Twitter handle, which is just at Amy Klement, AMYKLEMENT. And then I would also say Omidyar Network, following Omidyar Network on Twitter, and our handle is just at Omidyar Network.
Fantastic. Well, Amy, thank you very much for taking the time to be with us today. We wish you every success in your new role in running the world's education. We'll hope that you get everything fixed. There are a few challenges and opportunities there, so we wish you luck.
Thank you. Thanks so much for the time. Appreciate it.
All righty. Let's do some good.